It's 2:09 a.m., and my brain has decided to turn into a penguin documentary. I'm lying here, staring at this ceiling fan that hasn't moved since last summer, and wondering, why does my room feel like the inside of a freezer tonight? My blanket's doing its best, but it's no match for this kind of Arctic warfare. And then, of course, my brain whispers, hey, what if you actually lived in Antarctica? And just like that, my mind boards a one-way flight to the coldest place on Earth. The first thing I imagine is me, a sloth. Stepping off the plane in Antarctica, I'm wearing 3 coats, the scarves. At least for mismatched socks, the penguins stare at me like I'm the weird new kid in class. I try to wave and say, hi, neighbors, but my breath freezes mid-sentence and falls to the ground like snow. I have to start every conversation with a small icebreaker, literally. Then I think about my morning routine. How would I even get out of bed there? I already take 15 minutes to roll out from under my blanket in New York. In Antarctica, I'd probably just give up. I'd cocoon myself inside a heated sleeping bag and declare it my new permanent home. They'd find me in spring. Fossilized with a cup of frozen cocoa and a to-do list that just says maybe tomorrow. If I had to go grocery shopping, that would be a whole saga. I'd waddle to the nearest store, assuming there is one, and the cashier, a penguin named Steve, would ring me up for fish and ice cubes. I'd ask for avocados, and he'd say, sorry, those went extinct here years ago. I'd end up inventing a new diet called the Polar Chill Plan, minus 100% air, 0% flavor, guaranteed to keep you shivering and miserable. At some point, I'd need to find a job to pay for all that imaginary heating. Maybe I'd become the world's slowest weather reporter. Good evening, I'd say into the camera. Moving one paw per sentence. Today's forecast is still cold. Tomorrow, also cold. Ratings would skyrocket because everyone would be too frozen to change the channel. And let's not forget about fashion. Winterwear would be my entire personality. I'd walk around in so many layers I'd look like a furry snowball. Scarves would become my emotional support system. I'd post selfies like, day 43, still no sunlight. But this new beanie gives me hope. Eventually, I'd become a style icon for the phrase function over fashion. Then my mind jumps to food again. Because of course it does. What do sloths even eat in Antarctica? There are no leaves that no fruit, just ice. Maybe I'd become a gourmet chef specializing in frozen air soup and snowflake sandwiches. We appreciate the effort. I'd probably try to fry an egg outside and watch it turn into a hockey puck. Sleeping would be another challenge. I already nap like it's my full-time job. But in Antarctica, the sun disappears for months. I never know when to wake up. I just hibernate accidentally for half a year, then one day. I'd crawl out of bed, look around, and say, is it still 2025? The penguins would nod and offer me an iced coffee, which is just coffee that's frozen itself out of despair. After a while, I'd start making friends. Maybe a seal, a couple of penguins, and that one weird iceberg that talks too much. We have deep midnight conversations about existence. The seal would say, do you ever feel like the world's melting? And I'd sigh, yeah, but I'm too lazy to do anything about it. We'd sit there in silence, watching auroras shimmer like nature's nightlight. Eventually, I'd realize that maybe Antarctica isn't all bad. There's something peaceful about the endless white, the silence, the slow rhythm of everything. No traffic, no noise. No endless New York sirens. Just me in the frozen world. Maybe I think the cold isn't he trying to bother me. Maybe it is trying to make me slow down even more. Which, honestly, feels like a personal invitation. And then I snap back to reality. I'm in my bed, still shivering, still staring at the ceiling. My heater's humming, my blanket's trying its best, and I'm suddenly grateful I don't have to dig my dinner out of ice. But I do wonder, maybe the reason I can't sleep isn't the cold at all. Maybe my thoughts just like wandering to strange, frozen places. Anyway, good night, Antarctica. And good night to my ridiculously cold room.